What's up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Politically Insane Late Night Show. It is another late night, and so we are getting down with a few topics. We've got, first of all, just talking about the truckers that went to Canada and those who were standing up, and they were standing up for against some of the mandates that are going on in Canada for the truckers there. So we're going to talk about that, and then also how Rand Paul against Clown Fauci. Again, Rand Paul is again promising something to take down Fauci. Hopefully, this one will work. And then, of course, we're going to get to the good news of the week and Battle of the States. We're going to finish up our bracket. Now we've got Britain to make a little tiebreaker in there so we don't have to flip a coin. But so, of course, I've got Britain on with me today, and I've also got Tyler. So,
hey, everybody.
So, first and foremost, as always, I want to start off by mentioning our sponsor of this show today. It is Built Bar. Built Bar is just simply an amazing way to cut out sweets. You can cut out sweets, cut out all your candy bars and things like that, and replace them with Built Bars. I think Built Bars they really do. They taste amazing, and they're so much better for you. They're packed full of protein. They are made with real chocolate. They really do. They taste great. I think the only thing you have to get through that's a little bit different with Built Bar compared to a candy bar is the texture. I don't mind it, but I've heard some people say that they don't care for the texture. That's the only thing that throws them off with it, but they still taste amazing and it's totally worth it. Built Bar is amazing. Go check them out at built.com and use code INSANE for 10% off. Built Bars literally have changed the way that I eat sweets. Britton, have you eaten Built Bars? We're not hearing you, Britt.
Oh, I'll figure that with he might be muted on his end. I don't know. Yeah, we still can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah,
Oh, there we go.
That's odd. My microphone was on and I turned it off and then back on, and now you can hear me. But yes, I have had them. I like them. Texture doesn't bother me. I've done a lot of protein bars and stuff like that in the past. Anybody that's ever done protein bars, obviously, there's several different kinds of them out there, but they have different textures and stuff. Anybody that has experienced any of those can probably get past the texture pretty easy.
Yeah.
Very good taste though.
Yeah, the one thing that I love about Built Bars compared to other protein bars is just that there's not that like that grittiness to it. It's really a smooth taste. They taste amazing. It's a smooth texture. I like the texture personally. I just know people that have eaten protein bars that said that it threw them off, expecting more of a protein bar texture, but it doesn't. And I personally, I like that. I think that's pretty sweet. But
no pun intended.
No pun intended at all. But anyways, let's go ahead and get into the truckers that went up to Canada. So starting off, we're mentioning these truckers. For those who didn't know, there's a lot of truckers. They went up to Canada to support their fellow Canada truckers, and they were supporting them because there were a lot of mandates, and specifically vaccine mandates for these truckers. They were being forced to take the vaccine. And of course, they didn't want to comply. They weren't going to comply. And so they weren't fighting it alone. We had a lot of truckers come up as a convoy through America, even, and going up to support those Canadian truckers. It really is an amazing sight. We're going to go ahead and play one video just so you can see how large this is. If you just go ahead and play that first video there, Tyler.
All right. It's
Who
a
else
tiny
was like
fringe
vibing
minority.
to that music?
It's a tiny fringe minority. That's like no truckers at all. Tiny fringe.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and right there in that video, what you saw a lot more of was a bunch of even farmers, it seems like, because they're bringing a bunch of tractors there to support them. See a lot of people just driving, even just their regular vehicles, regular trucks. But there's been tons, there's been thousands, maybe even tens of thousands of truckers that went up here, and a lot of people showed up and they were doing this to support these truckers and to really make their voices be heard. And they aren't going to leave until these mandates are lifted. They are not going to back down. There's another video that I want to play to kind of show you how the police came and talked to these truckers, a lot of them anyways, a group of them, and they talked to them about how they have to get out of here. You know, basically like, hey, listen, we understand, but you've been heard. You got to get out. Let's go ahead and watch that video as well. Was that one not playing for you guys either?
Yeah, that one wasn't playing either.
Didn't get anything.
I don't
All right.
know. Looks like he screwed up.
That's all right. We'll keep that one out then. But basically, what's going on in that video, and maybe I'll have a link to that video in the description or in the comments, something of that nature, so you guys can check that as well. But what's going on in that video is the police come there and they're talking to this big group of truckers, and the
Sorry,
truckers are
fringe
simply
minority.
telling- What's that?
It's a fringe minority. Okay, get it right.
Minority? Okay,
Yeah.
well, the fringe minority of truckers, and you know, these truckers are simply telling the police like, "Hey, you can either fight for us and do the right thing, or you know, just tell you can keep on talking, but we're not leaving. We're staying here." And it was really cool. You know, of course, the police seemed like they were being polite about it, but they were still coming up and they were just telling them that they have to leave. You know, it's ridiculous. And all of this is because these truckers are protesting. They're what they're doing is they're protesting until they don't have to partake in these vaccine mandates. Their employers are requiring that they are taking these vaccines, and they're not going to back down. And that's basically what the spokesman for these truckers told the policeman, was that they're not leaving. And the policeman said that, you've been heard. We get your message. This is all over the media. You know, you're all over social media. Everyone sees you. Okay, you can just leave now. And they simply tell them that no, that's not what we're here for. We're not here so that we can be seen on social media. We're here so that we can end these mandates. We will leave whenever these mandates are ended. And that's exactly what they tell them. And it's ridiculous that they would be forcing this on them, but it's really cool, I think, to see this movement, to see how many people showed up. In that first video, you can see just how many people are showing up, and that's just a small video. There's all kinds of videos. I thought about just pulling out a group of them, but there was just too many to pick from, and there really is probably tens of thousands of truckers up there in Canada right now, and they're fighting for a great cause, and it's great to see that unity, and that's definitely something that we need as conservatives. Is we need more of that.
It's the one time I actually feel proud to call myself Canadian.
Yeah.
It doesn't happen very often, with Governor, or not, sorry, not Governor Blackface. That's in Virginia. Prime Minister Blackface up in Canada, who also, they arrest pastors. So I haven't been proud to say I'm Canadian until about now. And now I feel proud to say I am Canadian as well as American.
Well,
I'm
not
I'm
proud to
personally a
say
little
you're
bit
Canadian.
confused because I thought protests were supposed to be violent. One thing that this whole thing so far has shown me is the difference in, if we want to put it this way, the left versus the right. Um, there hasn't been violence. There's not. It's a protest. This is a true protest. This isn't violence. This isn't riots. This is something different. These are some people that care. These are people that are even they're willing to go all the way to Canada and to get their point across that they want this to end. So this is pretty cool to see. That there's this many people that are willing to take the time off of work and to travel, and they're doing a lot of this stuff at their own expense, and uh, trying to help each other out. This is true unity at its finest.
Yeah,
Well,
absolutely. And
go ahead, Josh.
yeah, I think that really kind of leads us into the next part of this too, where we see a lot of human rights defenders, how they're taking offense to how the police have had just a hands off, go at this. They haven't been roughing these truckers up. They haven't been, trying to break them up. They haven't been trying to send them home. They've had a pretty hands off experience for the truckers, anyways. And they've been upset that they're not roughing them up. They're not throwing them in prison. They're not arresting them. And the difference is, they're just like you said, Britton. It's because there's no violence. They're not sitting here and they're not burning down buildings and burning down cars and burning down businesses and houses. They're not doing any kind of destruction. They're just simply there. Now they might be disturbing some people because they're blowing their horns and things like that, but they're simply peacefully protesting the way that they ought to be.
See, but there was one whole Nazi flag, one Nazi flag seen in the entire movement. So therefore, the entire all four the whole 45-mile line of trucks, all of them are racist. Therefore,
Yeah, yeah, I guess so. I mean, they were racist before that, really,
yeah, and
but
homophobic.
but yeah, like kind of going back to how these human rights activists are going against this. One in particular, Joan Jack, she's a lawyer and an activist. She said that things would be different if these were indigenous people. So of course, pulling the race card, that's how they have to find some way to pull race into it and find an issue with it specifically into race. And this is how she chooses to do it. It would be different if they were indigenous people. It'd be different if they were people of color. Just in whatever way they can, they're going to find a way to pull the race card and put race into it where it really doesn't belong.
It would be different. There would be fire, and there would be people in hospitals, and there'd be deaths, and there'd be a lot of stuff different. She's absolutely right.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there would be they would be treated a lot different if maybe if we took that a step further, they would be treated a lot different if it was BLM and Antifa taking to the streets because, like you said, there'd be fires all around. The city would be burnt down. So there's all kinds of things that would be going on here. So it's just crazy that every time that this happens, I'm a little surprised on how they include not that they include race into it, that they try pulling the race card, but it amazes me how they try to how they try to put race into these things and like kind of pull the race card. It's completely ridiculous. But they always have to find a way to make things about race.
Well, another thing, if it was BLM and Antifa, you'd also have Justin Trudeau out there, and he would be kneeling with them, as he did with the Black Lives Matter protests, who are burning down his city. Because you always when people are burning down your city, you do exactly what they want because that's what a true leader does.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And yeah, I mean, it's just to me, it's very cool. And another thing to bring up about this movement with all of these truckers that are going to Canada, another thing that's really cool is to see how so many people have really spent their own money and put it towards these truckers that are up there to help support them. But what we're seeing now is that this GoFundMe that was put together for these truckers, as many people have contributed and as many people who have supported these truckers and going to Canada, GoFundMe has now completely taken. They've removed the $10 million Freedom Convoy 2022 fundraiser. So this huge fundraiser that was put up on GoFundMe, I keep on wanting to say PayPal, but this huge fundraiser that was put on GoFundMe, it was all taken down. So all of these people that put their money in, that money is no longer going to go to those truckers. And
But
it just
Kamala
shows
Harris
the
can raise
fraud
money for
behind these big corporate companies, especially GoFundMe. What was that, Tyler?
uh Kamala Harris can raise a bunch of money to bail criminals out of prison, but get them back in the streets. But you can't raise money for these protesters.
Yeah, and we see several times where BLM has really had GoFundMe accounts that were raised, and they were helping the people who were burning down buildings, and like we mentioned a moment ago, and all of these big time riots, and all that they were doing. We saw all kinds of GoFundMe's, and they weren't being taken down. And you see where they can pick and choose. It's not that, hey, here's a cause, you can donate to it however it may be, unless it's truly harming someone. Why do you have the right to take that away? And one of the messages that's been kind of sent out to everyone, and one of the messages that everyone's trying to get out to everyone who's contributed to this GoFundMe account is to contact your bank and try to get that removed, either mark it as fraud or try to get a refund for it so that it attacks GoFundMe. And if we can get a lot of people to kind of get onto that board, we can really cause a lot of issues for GoFundMe by doing that. So that's definitely something that we need to do. And when it comes to boycotting, I think this is one of them that that really needs to be boycotted. And GoFundMe is a horrible uh, company. They don't deserve your business one bit. There's all kinds of different ways that you can fund others, or fund have others fund yourself. There's just all kinds of things that all kinds of other companies that you can go through other than GoFundMe, and I highly encourage to boycott GoFundMe at all if possible.
Well, I mean, it started out as a good idea, but then, like, you can help like a kid who's struggling with cancer or something like that. But then they got political, and that's always what happens is when they get woke and political, then you run into all the issues.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And as soon as they start to put in their 2 cents about, which side of the aisle that they stand on, that's when you start to see things kinda going downhill, because most of these big companies are they're going to be on the left. It's just the trend of things. But yeah, it's disgusting to see that. But kinda moving on, something that, last time that he was on with me, we talked about Rand Paul and Fauci, how they were kinda going at it in another Senate hearing. And we see Rand Paul constantly trying to take down Fauci. He's trying to get him removed out of his position because he's an evil, corrupt politician. He's a bureaucrat who was not voted into his position, and he makes more money than any government employee in the nation. And on top of that, he's been caught in all kinds of things where he's totally corrupt. He definitely knew about more about COVID in the beginning, and it seems very likely that he was even a part of COVID coming to the U.S. and understanding how it evolved. And he also knew that it was formed in a lab. He knew all kinds of things. There's all kinds of things in emails that show all of these things being true. Yet Fauci is not. He's not held responsible for any of these things. He needs to be held responsible.
Well, also on the show, a few episodes, I think it was our last episode that we did, not our interview, but like before that, we talked about Fauci's monkey torture island. He literally has an island to breed monkeys so that he can torture them. Like that is a sociopath, and he's running our government.
Yeah, yeah, and he's running so much more of our government than we even realize, because
Well,
he's in Biden's ear and whoever else is actually running the show in the Biden administration. But there's all kinds of things that are going on where Fauci has a hand in it. Fauci is involved some way, and he shouldn't be. He's not even voted into the office. And Britton and I kind of talked about this, where he someone in that position does deserve to be paid a lot of money, and probably to be the highest paid government official with all of the stress that would go into that position. But it's just be somebody who is, for one, qualified, not only that, but someone who's voted in. But it's ridiculous to see that he's up there, and Rand Paul has been trying to get him removed. He's been doing anything in his power to. And here, Rand Paul recently, he made a statement that he plans to subpoena Fauci's records if the Republicans can take the Senate majority this midterm election. And as we come into this midterm election, if the Republicans do take the Senate majority, he will be the chairman of the Senate Health Committee. So then he would have subpoena power, and he would be able to subpoena all of Fauci's records, and be able to expose Fauci for who he really is. He's held he doesn't have a whole lot of power right now to be able to do as much as he could if we ended up winning the majority in the Senate. So there's a lot that he could be doing, and it would be great, and what Rand Paul can do to Fauci, he could get him removed if we end up having the Republicans take the majority in the Senate, which he should have been fired a long time ago. I don't understand where he ever found himself qualified to take the Senate, or not the Senate, but to take his position.
I'm just a little confused. I think one thing that we need to probably sit back and ask ourselves and wonder is if somebody like this, with as much power as he has, can come in and he was appointed, you know, to be in the position he's in, and we didn't get a vote on it. Um, we had no say in it, but yet he's able to control so much. That be that should be something we should worry about. The way our government's run, just in general. that people can be elected without any saying of the American people, and yet he can have as much influence and power as he has.
Yeah, and it seems so odd that how much that they regard Fauci's opinion, because it's clear that even though he is the science, it's clear that all of his statements are not facts. They're not factual one bit, but instead they're complete opinions. And not only that, but a lot of times they're complete lies. And so it's just amazing how many people will still listen to Fauci and still back up Fauci, and we even see Fauci dolls and figurines, all kinds of things. It's so weird how we hold him up to such a highly regarded figure, yet he shouldn't be, because he's a liar, he's a fraud.
I can't
But
think of anything good he's done.
no, and
Well,
even back
that thing he did with the
in his
monkey,
career.
the dogs was pretty good, right?
Yeah.
He solved a lot of the world's problems, right? Am I wrong?
I mean,
Right?
he's the one that fought back and he ended COVID within 15 days, right?
Uh,
Yeah.
I mean, if you're talking like, I don't know, not dog years, because that would be too little. Like, can you multiply 1 day by like 50 days, and then that's whatever years. Maybe that's like fly years or something like that. I don't know.
I totally lost track because the number just keeps on growing. It was like so many days since 15 days to stop the spread. And then it just became like, all right, it's been over a year. All right, where are we at now? What are we going to do? And it just keeps on growing. But yeah, it's crazy that especially even when we back up to the AIDS epidemic and how Fauci treated that. He refused to say that AIDS was something that was transmitted between homosexual sexual relations. So, there's kind of a point where you have to see that he's wrong on everything and finally get him out of office. Yet he can be
Well,
in office for is it, over 30 years? So
I
it's just ridiculous.
I do think it's a little weird. Fauci was a little worried about it spreading through homosexual, con, you know, adult things. Trying to keep it PG here. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Dr. Fauci has participated in some adult things.
You are gay.
He would never, he would never go to any kind of, gay bathhouse or anything like that.
No, no, no,
No,
no,
he would never do such a thing. It's not like we have proof of that. So
no.
we can't say that he would. But yeah,
We're removed from YouTube already.
it wouldn't surprise me. We had the last video taken down. So
We did.
yeah, and no warning. But
Wait, which video? The last late night show?
the last late night show.
What did I say that got us removed?
You
I don't know.
probably said all kinds of things.
I
Really,
probably said something about
it was
pedophiles.
probably your overlay of Elizabeth Warren.
Oh
But,
yeah, 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 yeah.
but
I wonder if I still have that.
I think whenever we look forward to this upcoming midterm election and seeing what it can do, whenever we talk about midterm election too, I want to even express that out to, our gubernatorial elections and all local offices, because it is extremely important. And hopefully we see how much these blue states and these blue counties have been run and how miserable the people in these blue states and blue counties are, so that we can finally realize that Democrats are not going to do anything for us. Democrats are not going to help us. They're not going to do anything that will be beneficial to us. They're not going to help our economy. They're not going to fix anything. They just make it worse. And so as we come to these local offices and as we come into the midterms for the Senate, and there's all kinds of elections that are coming up, especially local elections, it's time for us to look for people who are actually qualified and people who are actually going to do something, people who actually hold the same values as we do as American people. I think we need to start looking at that.
So not the Republicans either,
Uh,
because what you described is not the Republicans at all.
yeah, maybe a very minor I guess a very small minority of Republicans. I think there are people who can run as Republican. I think that's a long subject. So yeah, I think when you look at independents and a lot of the people who run on the independent platform, I would much rather vote for them, but they're never going to gain traction as an independent. And all it does is it just splits up the conservative vote. So ultimately, I think we need to start having some of those who are independents who really don't hold very, very vast difference of opinions from Republicans. They need to start uniting and working together, and winning the primaries is kind of a big thing. And so I think ultimately, yeah, the majority of Republicans aren't going to be fighting for us, but maybe these independents need to start taking that over.
Primaries are probably the most important thing for you to go vote. Is the primaries are extremely important
Absolutely.
because that's where you have the most control. You can get someone who will do more as a Republican, someone like Rand Paul, someone like uh, Ron DeSantis, someone like Ed Humphreys, right? All these guys are going to do something, not someone like Mitt Romney.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I would vote for Mitt Romney.
Okay. I'm gonna leave now, I guess.
Did you have something to write?
No, I just think it's a good point. Like you said, probably won't get too deep into this because it's such a long conversation. But you have the people that are running independent, um, and I've thought to myself before, there's things with the Republican side that I might not personally agree with. There's a lot of stuff, obviously, from the Democratic side that I don't agree with at all. But like you said, I think it's time that some of these individuals start running running on the Republican side to gain a little bit more traction because some of these guys are actually good candidates for the job. But the thing is as an American, I don't want to take my vote, assuming that my vote actually counts. I don't want to take my vote and shift it away from the Democratic or Republican side. Now all it's doing is taking one less from the better of two evils, so to speak.
Now, just to make it clear, Britain was not insinuating that these elections could be rigged whatsoever. We have
No, no,
completely
no, no, never, never.
I
that
was.
these elections are completely safe unless it's Republicans tweaking with them. I guess are we allowed to say that they're not safe now that Biden said that?
Well, I don't know at this point. Maybe.
Well,
Um,
I guess because we're white Republican conservatives, I guess we probably can't. So, not probably actually we're not allowed to say anything. So our opinion's always redacted. So I guess we'll just play it on the safe side and say that these elections are totally safe, everyone. Go out and vote and we'll be good.
yeah,
But
that sketchy guy asking you for your ballot, very safe, very safe. Give it to
oh yeah.
him. Give it to him. And when he puts a gun to your head and says vote Democrat, it's all safe, safe and secure.
Well, and the Democrats are nothing but helpful, right? They do nothing but help. We should all just switch over to Democratic voters, which we're actually seeing a huge shift where even Democrats are leaving their own party to start to lean Republican, and we're seeing a huge switch in that, which is good. And hopefully, we see a huge turnout for the Republicans, especially when we talk about Rand Paul and what he can do. He will be given a lot more power. The subpoena power is huge for him to be able to take down Fauci. So I think that's something that's very big. So hopefully we can all go out. I'm going to encourage everyone, even if you do think. So here's something that I think a lot of conservatives that I know how they feel. So they feel like the past elections were rigged, and they can't trust them, so they're not going to vote. If that's how you feel, don't they win? Because now they don't have to rig it. Let's say that they were rigged. Now they don't have to rig it because you're not going to show up to vote anyways. So instead, how about we show up so much that they're going to have to rig it even more obvious every time. And one of these times we're going to catch them, and that'll be the end of it. So I think us just giving up just gives them the victory too easy. And I think we really need to put a stop to it by keeping on showing up and show up so much that we're not going to let them win. And I think that's ultimately how we put an end to it. And of course, voting for people who we know. It doesn't have to be, Republican or Democrat titles that you have to vote for specifically one way or another, but it has to be individuals that you feel like you can trust. And that's where we have to start. And it ultimately comes down to the states. The states have to be the ones to really be the ones to push forward in this. And so voting for your local governments, I think, is where you start, and that's where it starts to spread out. And so I think that's definitely something. I think not showing up to the polls just gives them the victory too easily.
Exactly. Real quickly. So, are we gonna go to Battle of the States next, or do you want to take chats?
We're actually gonna do good news of the week first, and then we'll head
Oh,
over to
maybe you should have put
Battle of
that
the
in
States.
order in the show map.
Yeah, I know. I didn't put the show map together properly, but I think I put it together properly up top, but I didn't put it
Fired.
together total. So,
This
but
is
that's
why
all
you're
right.
not a part of the network anymore.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm doing everything myself now, so it's just it's not a good deal, but
Yeah, that's why you should have stayed with us. No, what's the Liberty Loft doing? Doing your research?
they're getting me to grow a little bit quicker, so I guess
Oh well, yeah.
they're doing something there for me. Oh,
Uh,
were there some chats that you thought stood out?
there are some interesting ones.
There's some fun ones.
So here's the first one. I think you'll like this. This is Toby Tays. Get your gun and shoot yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that one.
So
Actually, I would, but I actually know how to operate a gun, and I know how to operate it safely, so I'm not stupid. And
well, that's debatable.
I think the only reason why you're saying that is because we offend you for being white conservative males. So how else can we offend you today?
You can pick up that shirt at wherever Josh's merch shop is.
Yeah, we might as well pull it up. You can always support us here at Politically Insane and support the Second Amendment, where we have the right to defend ourselves and not shoot ourselves. But you can always go check out our shop at politicallyinsane.us/shop. You can always check it out. We've got all kinds of things. We got a mug and tumbler that I've actually got here full of water and coffee for me today. But yeah, all kinds of T-shirts and stuff like that. We're going to keep on growing the shop as we go
Why are
too.
you drinking coffee? It's like your time. It's like 9:30.
Yeah, but you see, I'm not a child like you anymore, so coffee doesn't
Yes,
affect me that way,
but
and it's
still,
it's late for me. So
coffee afternoon is like, unless it's iced coffee, is it's frankly it's wrong. It's a sin.
no, I drink coffee at any and you know what? As soon as this is over, I will go lay my head on my pillow and fall asleep within 2 minutes.
I will still be hyper, and I haven't even had coffee. So
You know, I just don't get hyper.
I'm gonna make some coffee and play some Madden.
Yeah, true. I guess maybe I'll hop on Madden for a little while, but
gosh, you guys don't play Descenders? So much better.
no, but I think you probably enjoy like do you play any NHL games?
NHL, I don't own one actually. I don't play many video games in general, but there's this game that I've been playing with my buddies called Descenders. It's a mountain biking game, and
Oh,
like you can just
okay.
do stupid things with your friends. What? What was that?
What?
You are gay.
Yeah. All right. This next one is actually really interesting. This is from Spaggle. He says, "Who was this show for? It seems like they agree on everything, which makes for a yep, yeah, and also that's right, type convo. It's a little bit boring."
Well,
Um,
who this is for is not for you, so move along.
no, I mean,
Don't step
I
on the
think that we should start getting some more liberals on the show. I think that would be interesting.
I
Can I just
actually have
disagree with you guys to make him happy?
Yeah.
usually there is something that we all disagree, which actually we'll get to the Battle of States here soon, and we're gonna disagree. So one way or another. So there you go. There's one for you if you really want to see us disagree. But the reason why we don't disagree on a lot is because we all have common sense, and so we use actual logic and reasoning behind our ideas, and usually that pulls us to one single unification. So
Like,
you know,
don't kill babies.
yeah, don't kill people, don't shoot yourself. I think we all have that agreement.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, just conservatism. I think that's it's not too hard to agree with people when you actually have a brain. But
I just want
anyways,
to say, if you get a T-shirt that says, "How about you grab your gun and go shoot yourself?" I will buy one.
all right, that's coming up on the shop next week. But
All right.
no, I don't think I could get away with that one. Really, I think that one would get removed pretty quickly.
Probably.
I think okay, all you gotta do is if you're white, go get your gun and shoot yourself, and that
Yeah,
will be allowed.
if
Right.
you're white, get your gun
Yeah.
and shoot yourself.
If you're white
You'll see
and you
Britton on
knew
the
it,
show
shoot
next week
yourself.
repping it.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, yeah.
Oh yeah, I had to pull my new shirt out.
Yeah.
Yeah, so,
Real quickly, I got a
anyways,
song
this
for your
this
new
show
shirt.
is this show is just not for you, and so move on. If you don't have common sense and you can't agree with people, using common sense and rationality, then this isn't for you. It can be boring whenever you don't have a brain, so that's all right.
Real quickly, I have the song for your ad for this shirt. If you're
Do you?
white and you knew it, know it, shoot yourself. I don't sing, obviously, but you just
We'll
have
just
that
have, like
jingle.
we'll just have to get a bunch of little kids, maybe you can get your friends together, and you guys can all
Hey,
sing that
I
song
am
on the podcast.
15. Okay, you're a map, so maybe you should get your victims together.
I'm not attracted to them, okay? I just like little kids, but
Don't stigmatize it.
all right, so what we usually cover on this show is usually bad news. It's usually bad news because we just have Democrats and leftists that are overtaking our country, really. And so I thought, you know what? I've been seeing a few good news topics to bring up. So I figured a new segment, and we don't have a stinger yet, but
I'll
new
get
segment
that
we can
done.
pull up is good news of the week. So this week, one thing that I found, I thought this is pretty cool to see, and it shows how much humanity is still alive in America. Well, not America, because this wasn't in America, but yeah, I guess this is good news for someone else, not for Americans. But there is a truck driver in Lithuania, and he uses his truck lift to help an elderly woman get to her car, and she's avoiding this huge puddle. And I thought it was pretty cool. Go ahead and pull up that video.
I thought
Alright,
for a
so
second they were both raging drug addicts because of the way they were talking, and then I realized this wasn't in America.
yeah, this is in Lithuania, but they might be drug addicts as well. I mean, she's probably retired, so why not? You know, but but
You know
I
what? You're gonna
thought that was
die anyway, so have a good time.
yeah, and I thought it was pretty cool though, because you see how he backs up to the perfect positioning. He gets his lift gate to the perfect positioning so she can walk across. She doesn't have to walk through all this water. There's just a huge puddle there, and so I thought that was pretty cool. It's cool when you see people actually have compassion for one another. They actually have a heart, and I don't know. I thought that was some pretty good news to bring up for this week.
Before we get too far off, off from where we were, just for the record, the guy that said, "Get your gun and shoot yourself." I want you to know that he followed it up with, "JK, bro." I thought that was hilarious.
So not only is he stupid, but he's also weak, and he can't just stand behind his own words.
Real quickly, back to the trucker thing. Is our episode just about how great truckers are?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yes.
Yeah, truckers are amazing, right? That was the only point that I had to make this whole show.
In all fairness, truckers and farmers are the backbone of the United States.
They really are,
So
and
I
especially
respect them.
truckers. When you see how we have a lot of these shortages and inventory shortages and stuff like that, a lot of it's because of truckers either being forced out of their job because of these mandates and restrictions, or pretty much anything else that comes up, where we're having a lot of shortage of them. So whenever you see a shortage of truckers, and if you see a shortage of farmers, you're going to see the economy fail. You're going to see a lot of things start to shut down. But let's go ahead and get into the battle of the states. Are you there with us, Tyler?
There no.
No. And then he placed the stake.
I clicked it and it was not going through.
He probably
Okay,
clicked it and it didn't show up right away, so he clicked it again and pulled it off.
you know what? Uh, uh, well, you're mean. There's my comeback.
That's about the best you got. All right. So for those who didn't tune in last week, Battle of the States, what this is we've been kind of picking and choosing. Last week it was just Tyler and I, so we had to flip a coin for the tiebreaker. Today we've got Britain to kind of break the tie. So I guess we've got three of us, so there won't be a tie. But So what we're doing is we kind of went through and I just picked a bunch of states, a bunch of the bigger states, and kind of chose a bunch of them to kind of go up against each other, put it all into this bracket system. And with this bracket, it actually made a lot of really good, kind of tough decisions last week. It took us a while to get through it because there were so many good matchups there. So first one that we did was Alaska, Hawaii. Alaska moved on, and then North Dakota, Washington, North Dakota moved on. Let's see, and then Oregon, North Carolina, and Oregon moved on only because of a coin toss there. Colorado beat Alabama. New Mexico beat Ohio. Don't know how. Oh yeah, I stuck with Ohio, and then we did a coin toss on that.
Yeah, I
Then
told you were wrong.
Minnesota beat out Wisconsin. Florida beat Utah. Montana beat Virginia. Tennessee beat California. Idaho beat Missouri. Georgia beat Michigan. Arizona beat Pennsylvania. Louisiana beat Nevada. Wyoming beat New York. South Dakota beat Oklahoma. And then Texas beat Kentucky. So we had all those matchups last week. So the way that we decide which state moves on, and the first one that we're going to pull up here is Alaska versus North Dakota. So what we do is we can take you can take location, you can take the, whatever kind of scenery there is in that state. And absolutely, I think for us, the first you have to consider is the politics that go behind those states. So whether it's a red state, blue state, whether you're going to be able to support the politicians that are in that state. So you kind of have to know a little bit about that. But yeah, at least even if you don't know much about it, you should be able to tell whether it's a red state or blue state. So you can kind of see there. But sometimes I think there was once like Oregon and North Carolina, that one was kind of like a toss-up, like, they're both kind of similar, but I think North Carolina is slightly better. So I chose North Carolina, but
I chose Oregon, and I won, so therefore I'm right.
yeah. But I mean, Oregon is, it's a beautiful state. So that's why the leftist on our show picked that one.
You know
But
what? I am a leftist. That's very obvious by my anti-socialism shirt.
absolutely, because leftists don't support socialism. They just
No,
support
not at all.
equity
Bernie
and
Sanders is not
equality.
a socialist.
But the first one here is Alaska and North Dakota. I'm going to let Britain start off on this one. We can't hear you, Britt.
Oh, there goes your audio again. All right. Well, he fixes that.
Alaska.
Josh. Oh, there we
There
go.
it is. You're going with Alaska? Give us
Yeah.
a reason why.
Oh, I mean, I think politics, as far as politics goes, as well as just whatnot. And I think North Dakota is not too bad either. But I think for location purposes, that's probably when it's going to come down to me as far as deciding what's going to be the deciding factor. I think I will say the one negative thing that made me almost not go with Alaska is suicide rates higher in Alaska than any place else. So
Yeah,
kind
it's
of
a
makes,
barren wasteland of nothing.
but I'm an outdoors guy, so
Yeah.
um,
And I
I'm
can
gonna have to
see
go with
that.
Alaska.
I could see that. Yeah. And I think Britain and I would probably agree with Alaska because of that. For me, it's hard. So I think about it. I think the reason I think so. I guess I'll tally Britain up for Alaska if I can get my mouse to work here.
Do
There it is.
better.
So there's a number. There's a tally for Britain for Alaska. I think I'm going to go with Alaska too. So it doesn't even matter what Tyler has to say.
Well,
Um,
okay, then I was gonna go for Alaska anyways. So
Okay, well then it whoops it 3-0 anyways. But I'm going with Alaska only because I'm trying to think. So politically, they're both pretty equal. North Dakota is a pretty free state. Alaska may have a little more restrictions than North Dakota would because North Dakota is like one of the freest states for the most part. But I don't know, like scenery wise, I don't know. Alaska would just be a lot of fun. I think there's a lot of for skiing and snowboarding and all kinds of stuff like that. There's all kinds of mountains up there. I don't know. There's just a lot of cool scenery. But what it mainly boils down to is Alaska. You could secede from the rest of the country pretty easily from up there. So I think that's what wins it for me.
yeah, but then Canada might take you guys over, and
No,
then you'd be Canadian and a disgrace to the world.
no, we will be our own individual country of Alaska. The United Alaska of Alaska. There you go. We already have a name,
The-
guys.
the United Alaska of Alaska. So the UAA.
UAA. Yep, there we go.
I actually like it.
I like
We're already there.
I like the initials UAA, but
And
yeah,
as the Canadians call it, UAA.
UAA. But the next one here, we got Oregon, Colorado. I'm gonna go ahead and pick Colorado for obvious reasons because Oregon's so liberal that I don't want to ever live there. But what do you got, Britt?
I'm definitely gonna go Colorado. I think they're both very beautiful states. They're also both super liberal states. Colorado's definitely less liberal. Probably pretty significantly less liberal. I know Oregon is extremely left. Um, they both like their marijuana. Um, and I don't know, they're both very beautiful states. But I've personally been to Colorado on multiple occasions, and I would think I just pick Colorado probably just due to probably less likely to be as swinging left quite as much, I guess.
Yeah, I think Colorado would be more center left, whereas Oregon is like so far left they're off the scale. But
Yeah.
who did you have just for the sake of it?
I was gonna say Oregon only because if you live in the right part of Oregon, you can. If the greater Idaho movement is trying to get a bunch of counties to become Idaho, so then you're in Oregon technically, but then you become Idaho, and you don't have to deal with the politics of Oregon.
Yeah, but you're the only one that likes Idaho here, so you're not winning us
Idaho
over.
is the greatest. Idaho. I mean, sure, we only have like potatoes, but like,
They're like the 14th greatest
what does
at the
Ohio
best.
have?
Ohio has everything. What
Like
doesn't
what? Be
Ohio
more
have?
specific.
Like the home of aviation? I don't know. Like what else do you need? They're
I don't know.
I'm
Something
gonna charge
cool.
my
Like,
laptop, but I'm listening.
but yeah, so they have all kinds of cornfields. You go a little bit further east and you're into the Appalachians. Like there's all kinds of things in Ohio. You got actual cities where you can actually do things. I don't know.
yeah, well, no, Boise is an actual city. Don't you dare! Don't do that. Boise is an actual city.
Boise's half a city. I'll give you that much. But
Boise is. What about Eagle? Okay, what about Eagle, Idaho?
nope. It's got a cool name.
Yeah,
I'll give you that.
it's also a very nice, beautiful town.
I don't know about that. I've never been there, but
It's
that's
great.
because there's zero attraction to go to Idaho.
You want to know the attraction? Me. No.
I
Okay.
said attraction, not detraction.
Oh.
But we've got our next one up is New Mexico, Minnesota. Tyler, how about you start us off?
Oh, I'm starting us off this time. I don't know New Mexico's politics. No, Minnesota's pretty blue, if I'm correct. But
New
they have
Mexico is kind
good
of
hockey.
middle right.
Okay. I might just go Minnesota because New Mexico sounds miserable to live there.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I don't know. You say you're going Minnesota?
Yeah, I think so. They
Brett,
got
how
good
about you- how
hockey.
about
I'll
you go
probably
next?
lose this one though.
I'm actually gonna go New Mexico. I've been to both. New Mexico. I really like Arizona and New Mexico area. Um, I don't think I know there's different people as far as the landscape and shit that just can't quite get over it. The rocks and all that stuff. But I personally like the layout there, so I'm gonna go with New Mexico.
See, I've never been to New Mexico. I have been to Minnesota several times. I think last week I chose Minnesota because I can remember going out on the lake in the middle of the night and you can just see stars for days. And so, yeah, I mean, that was really cool. But I think what wins me over here is that I don't know. I've never been to New Mexico, but I've seen stuff, and I know Britton told me some of the things that he did out in New Mexico and Arizona and stuff like that. So I mean, I don't know. I think New Mexico might win it for me just because it leans a little bit further right. Um, but other than that, I don't know. I think I also don't know if I want to be so miserably cold in the winter times that I can't breathe. But I also don't want to be so hot that I can't breathe in the summertime. So it's kind of a lose lose there.
You can put on more layers than you can take off legally.
Yeah, but
Okay.
have you been in like negative 50-degree weather in Minnesota?
I don't think it gets that cold.
It
That's like
I
Antarctica level cold.
no, negative 50 degrees plus wind chill. Go to Minnesota
Oh.
sometime in the wintertime. It is blistering cold.
Do you know what I don't know, a house is? 'Cause you can
Yeah,
stay
but
in that, you know that, right?
you still have to go out to get to work, and you have to, like, literally plug
Yeah,
your
you're in a car.
you have to literally plug your car in the morning to get it warmed up enough to be able to start it. Like, you can't start your car.
See, I'm in the tower climbing industry, so I'm gonna trump both of you on this. I promise you, I would not want to do it when it's that cold.
Yeah, true. Yeah, and I can agree with you on that. I think yeah, I mean, I don't know, I think I would in that sense, when you take the extreme cold to just a little bit of miserably hot, but you can go to cool off in the lake or in the pool or something like that whenever it gets too hot. But I don't know, like, usually, yeah, I agree. I wanna be cold rather than hot. But, let's go on to the next one,
Just
Florida,
wait, real quickly,
Montana.
does New Mexico have Mexican food?
Yes.
They
They
have
do?
new
Is
Mexican
it
food.
good?
It is. It's very different than what we're used to, like in our Mexican restaurants here. You'll have a lot of Indians in that area. So I mean, it's still they still do. You have a lot of Mexicans as well, but the culture there's very different. If you go out to Arizona, New Mexico area, it's just the way of living there is completely different than what we're used to. Um, Nothing that I don't think I couldn't get used to, but it is it's very, very different. The houses are different, the people are different. Just like I said, kind of a different area.
Our next matchup is Florida, Montana. This one's tough for me. Uh, okay, so do you want Montana where you've got mountains? And I think I would love the scenery better there, and I hate how humid Florida could get. Plus, there's alligator. I think I'm going Montana. I don't know. I mean, the only thing that draws me to Florida, and literally the only reason why I voted for them last week, and I think this one came down to a coin toss. The only reason why I voted for Florida was because of Ron DeSantis. So, I mean, I don't know. I feel like there's not a whole lot going for Florida. It's more like a vacation spot. I don't know. I think I'm going Montana.
I'm gonna go Montana as well for the same reasons.
Yeah.
I would go Montana as well, just because I mean Montana is very free. You'd be alone up there because no one lives there. No one has proved us in the chat that people live in Montana, so you'd be alone basically. It'd be
True.
lovely.
True. Yeah, we did say last week for somebody in the chat to put down if they were from Montana, and nobody put it down. So we're
Maybe
going
that's
on.
because we have like no listeners, but you know.
All right, this one comes down to Tennessee and Idaho. Which one you picking, Britain?
Ooh, I'm gonna go with
Go Idaho.
Tennessee.
No.
Obviously, I used to live in Kentucky. I've been to Tennessee on multiple occasions. Tennessee's got a lot of different stuff. It's got the tourist attraction areas, just like a lot of the states that we're discussing. But you've got mountains there. You've got um, the people there are a little different. It's a little more backwoods. Just people are just kind. Same with like the Kentucky area. One thing I noticed when I lived in Kentucky, and I think Kentucky and Tennessee are extremely similar in a lot of areas. But I lived in Evansville, Kentucky for a while, and then or in Indiana, and then I moved over to Henderson, Kentucky. Just right across the bridge, I could tell a big difference in just the people. Everybody waves to each other. Everybody's willing to help each other out. It's just people are a little different down there. So I'm gonna go Tennessee.
What about
Yeah,
you,
but
Tyler?
potatoes.
I
Like,
love potatoes,
yeah,
We
you
can
can
get
get.
potatoes in Tennessee.
but they are also in Tennessee. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Idaho doesn't actually get the potatoes we grow. They go to like California because this
Really? So
is
you're going to support California?
Right.
yeah. Well,
You kind
Idaho.
of,
Okay,
so you are a
the
socialist.
argument for Idaho. Idaho has we've got abortion is more banned than in Tennessee, so we got that. Um, again, I'm here, so therefore it's right. I'm not sounding like a narcissist at all. 3, they've got good mountain biking, better than Tennessee, and I guess that's not going to encourage either of you.
Better than Tennessee? Tennessee has all kinds of mountains.
Yeah, but not like Idaho mountains. Idaho mountains are special
Oh,
because they're
better
Idaho
mountains.
mountains.
Your abortion thing kind of didn't really help me at all because I have the right to decide if I want to have an abortion or not in any state. So
Well, I mean, in Tennessee too, they passed where it's the heartbeat bill to where if there's a
mhm.
heartbeat, there's no abortion. So I mean, how much further than that is Idaho?
I believe it's only like 4 weeks. So you have 4 weeks rather than just heartbeat. You just have 4 weeks. Period.
Okay, so I would say they're pretty equal then. I don't know.
I might be wrong though, because
I
I've
don't
been
remember
wrong before.
I don't remember off the top of my head when the heartbeat starts either, so,
It's
yeah,
6 weeks, I believe.
it might be. That sounds about right. But, okay, so we're tied 1-1 on it, and the tiebreaker goes to me. Of course, I'm going Tennessee.
I hate you. I hate you all.
You know,
You know what?
I knew he would take offense to this. I didn't take offense to when we voted Ohio out, but, you know,
But yeah,
whatever.
because Ohio sucks. Idaho's great.
But, you know, there's just, you know,
Was Nebraska ever in there?
no, I don't think so.
Wait, this
That's
isn't
odd.
even out of all 50 states?
No, not all 50. It was only up to 32, so I had to pick out the 32 bigger states that actually had something to live for. Nebraska doesn't
And
have a whole lot to
Montana
live for other than,
made it?
the Cornhuskers. What?
Montana made it into the biggest states?
Yeah, it's a big state.
Yeah, but doesn't that require people living there?
No, it's still a
Oh.
big state. Next one is Georgia, Arizona. Britton, which one are you picking?
I can't afford to live in Arizona. So, I don't know. As much as I like it, because Georgia's in that, I might go Georgia. I don't know Georgia. I would assume Georgia's probably a little more on the right side than Arizona would be.
I think they're pretty similar.
Arizona's got a lot of Arizona's the only bad thing I will say about it is it's either super nice area or that I could never afford to live in, or not so nice areas at all. Um,
Straight up hood.
yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I like Arizona as a state, like to visit there, but I might have to go with Georgia on this one.
Which one are you picking, Tyler?
I don't know. Arizona's got Sedona, and that's got really good mountain biking. I know, as you can see, this is the only factor that I'm factoring in. But Georgia does have NOAA, and so that would be cool. But Georgia's really humid, so I don't know. I'll probably go Arizona as well.
Arizona as well, or you're going Georgia as well?
Oh, wait. I wasn't paying attention then. Real quickly, I do have to issue a correction. I was wrong. It's not 4 weeks. It's when there's a heartbeat. So I was wrong again.
In Idaho, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, so it's the exact same as Tennessee. So, in other words, you're wrong, and
Yeah, but it's
Idaho is
Idaho.
worse than
Idaho.
Tennessee. So Tennessee is better. Plus Daily Wire. We can go watch Candace live. Psh, heck
Yeah,
yeah.
but the Patriotic Youth is here.
I
Oh,
don't
wait,
care
no,
about
you left that
Patriotic Youth.
network.
I think Georgia might even be or Tennessee might be closer to the Liberty Loft too. So I don't know. Kind of
Yeah,
a
but
not a
who got
toss
you
up at all.
started? Did the Liberty Loft get you started? Hmm?
Yeah, they
They
got
did?
me
Oh, they
started.
did?
They got me started onto the Liberty Loft. So
Yeah, but we got you started, period. So, we're better.
so you're going Arizona or Georgia?
Yeah, I'm going Arizona.
Okay, well, Tyler loses again. I'm going Georgia. I think I would rather.
I feel like you're ganging up. This is not fair because you guys are brothers.
I mean, we're just right. I don't know. I think between what Britton said, plus yeah, like Noah. Shout out to Noah Ring from Let Freedom Ring. I think I'll go
Is he on
Georgia.
the show still? Because I haven't heard any episodes from him in the last little bit.
I haven't recently,
He
but
doesn't respond to my text either, which I guess he's like every girl I've ever talked to.
I don't blame him for that. I don't know.
Josh,
Georgia has a lot to offer.
I'll tell you what. Sometime in the next couple of years, we'll take a trip for a week out to. We'll find a week that you can get off, and we'll go out to Arizona, and we'll stay in Peoria at a resort there. Um, we own a timeshare, and it's pretty cool there. I think you'll like Arizona, but you're also going to understand that Arizona is a destination for a 1 week or 2 weeks at a time traveling place that you'd rather be in for that long versus live there.
As long as I'm not in what is it, Maricopa County, wherever Atlanta, the county that Atlanta's in. As long as I'm not in that county, I feel like I'd be all right in Georgia. I feel like I could get along with some Southern people. But Louisiana, Wyoming, Tyler, who are you picking?
I'll probably go. I don't know. Louisiana has really good food. I think on politics they're pretty similar, but Louisiana has really good food. I don't know what Wyoming food is because they probably.
Louisiana has really good Cajun food, and they've got all kinds of festivities. The
It
only
would just be fun to
downside
live
is like
there, but I just hate the climate.
Yeah, the only downside is, like, climate, and then you gotta watch out for hurricanes, like, I don't know, it is a little tough.
I don't know. Maybe it'd be fun to like be in a hurricane. I don't know. Maybe like I don't know.
It would be fun for you to be in a hurricane.
Yeah, it'd be fun for all of you guys because I'd be dead by the end of it.
Which one you picking?
I'll go Louisiana.
You're going Louisiana.
Oh, that is actually a downside. Everyone talks weird there.
I don't know, I love the Louisiana accent. Britton, who are you picking?
Okay, sorry, Tyler. I'm definitely going to go against Tyler on this one again. My biggest thing is I hate reptiles. I don't particularly want to live anywhere where there's alligators. Cajun food's good, but let's face it, I'm not gonna want to get used to eating Cajun food all the time. I like my just regular American food a little
I
too
think
much.
your digestive tract would probably not like it that much.
Yeah, probably not. Also, Wyoming's beautiful.
Yeah,
I think
Wyoming's
the
beautiful.
nice places in Louisiana are just touristy areas. So I'm not interested in living in Louisiana.
Yeah,
Alright,
but
so
hurricanes. Doesn't that sound amazing?
No, it
so
does not.
so I come down to the tiebreaker again, and I promise, Tyler, I'm not meaning to team up against you,
Wow.
but Wyoming has mountains and
Yeah.
all kinds of nice scenery, and it's not too humid and everything up there, and, I don't know, I think Louisiana is an amazing spot. It's an amazing state. Like I said, I think all the celebrations and stuff that they have are really cool. I really wanna go down to the Mardi Gras sometime. There's all kinds of stuff that they do in Louisiana that I think is really cool, but it's just not where I wanna live, so I think I'm going Wyoming. But, yeah, sorry, Tyler, you're just wrong. Next one is South Dakota, Texas.
Oh, that's actually a good matchup.
Who are you taking, Tyler?
I'm choosing. Actually, you know what? You guys go first because I want to do a little test here.
You know what? We're gonna let Tyler be the tiebreaker. Britton, which
Yeah,
one are you picking,
come on.
Texas or South Dakota?
What if it's not a tiebreaker? Because I'm choosing Texas, and I think you are too.
You're choosing Texas?
Yes,
See,
I am.
I wanna choose Texas because it's supposed to be, like, that's the state for conservatives, right? That's the gunslinging state, but South Dakota's pretty free. Kristi Noem's not all terrible. She does some decent things. I don't know, overall, I think I like South Dakota, plus, like, the Badlands, you know, of course, you can include Mount Rushmore, but, I don't know, I
Sturgis. They got Sturgis.
yeah, they got Sturgis. I think I'm going South Dakota. I don't know. I think
I'll
that's
be in
just
Texas next week, so
yeah, I think it's just because, again, I don't like the crazy heat, and I would rather be in South Dakota, and it's closer to home for us too, Britt, so I don't know, I feel like South Dakota's a little better for me, but I think I'm going South Dakota.
I'm going South Dakota as well. So
See, we weren't completely teaming up on you, Tyler.
well, yeah, because you're trying to trick me into leaving. Yeah.
We're hustling him.
Josh texted me before this and said anything Tyler picks, pick the opposite.
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Britton, you're not supposed to tell him that.
Yeah.
But all right, so next week we're gonna get into the final four. So whether it's all of us or somebody else joining,
I think next week we got 2 guests coming on. I need to talk to Josh about that, but we have 2 coming on. Maybe we could have 5 people on the show. Who knows?
maybe I would be okay. More the merrier, right? Until it just becomes too hectic. But
Well,
yes, next week we're gonna get into the final four. We're gonna talk about that and see who ends up winning the battle of the states. So we'll finish that up next week, mainly just because of the crunch on time. But let's go ahead and get into this week in history. All right, so this week in history, I know Tyler did it because I was talking to him just before the show, and I see
did it. I did a good job this time. I think mine's perfect.
I see Britton frantically grabbing his phone real quick. So
I just screenshotted mine. I've got
okay.
mine.
But so this week in history, I've got from this past Wednesday was Groundhog's Day, which would have been the first. Oh man, I didn't even write it down. Man, I wasn't prepared this week.
Yeah, you can never judge me again for not being prepared. I
I've
had
got-
things that I was doing. I came from a snowboard
Hey,
competition where there's no Wi-Fi.
I was prepared. I just didn't have my screen rolled over. But it's
Yeah, so was I. I was prepared.
February 2nd, which was this past Wednesday, And 1887 was the first Groundhog's Day. So anyone who's a Bill Murray fan knows that the Groundhog's Day is the greatest celebration other than pretty much any other than, a lot of them. So Groundhog's Day, first one in 1887,
I
where
didn't even realize Groundhog's Day happened.
I didn't either. Yeah, I saw something like on Thursday about it, and I was like, "Oh wow, that happened yesterday, huh? That's cool." So, yeah, I have no idea how the outcome was either. So, if anyone's watching and wants to put that down in the chat to inform us what happened on Groundhog's Day, that'd be great. But for those who don't know, Groundhog's Day is where a rodent comes crawling out of a hole and tells us whether we're going to have more winter or a early
Why are
spring.
we so stupid? Like,
That's why I don't pay attention to Groundhog's Day. But kudos to those who like Groundhog's Day, I guess.
they should get no respect.
All right, Britton, what do you got for this week in history?
I actually have a really fun one here. I went like completely opposite. I usually try and pick something somewhat political or something, that a lot of people, know or whatever, or like a holiday or something like that. I went with something a little different here. I was just reading through some stuff. The first "Do Not Walk" sign, those signs on the roads and stuff that they'll flash and say like "Don't walk." They're light and
Yeah.
all that stuff. 1952, the first one was put in New York City actually.
Like on
There
crosswalks?
were yes, yeah. So there were so many deaths that were happening from, obviously we know anybody that has never even been to New York knows the traffic is just awful there, and we picture all these taxis and just vehicles everywhere. Most people don't even own a vehicle in New York City. They take the train or the subway, but so many deaths were actually happening that they put up their first "Do Not Walk" sign in 1952. Actually, today in 1952.
Oh, yeah, so I guess if we were ranking them, I think Punxsutawney Phil and Sidewalks, Do Not Walk, pretty equal.
Oh,
But,
for sure.
yeah, what do you got, Tyler?
Well, actually, Britain did almost the exact same one I had. Mine is also about New York and traffic lights. They finally adopted the 3-colored traffic light. So instead
Yep.
of doing, I don't know, whatever weird gay New York stuff they did the normal one.
Well, maybe Cuomo was in charge of that, but yeah, so of course we see, Britain and I actually have some pretty good ones, and then we've got Tyler just copying Britain. But
I have another one actually. You want another one? The Apollo 14 astronauts walked on the moon on, I believe, February 5th.
That didn't actually happen. Just that's not true.
Yeah, so there you are. Fail.
You know what?
It's nothing
you left
but
my
fails
network.
with
I
you.
might leave your show.
It's nothing but fails, all right? I mean, just constant, man. Just do some research, man. That's all you got to do.
See,
Man,
but Don Lemon
yeah.
said doing your own research is evil.
Tyler, I never realized until you talked about snowboarding that you actually have the poster behind you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, actually got it for free from the snowboard I bought. So, you know what? I needed something to go behind me other than the bland wall.
I've got a really cool politically insane wall art and politically insane flag you can hang behind you.
You also have a gun that you should go shoot yourself with.
See, I mean, I do in my closet. It's just an airsoft gun, so it wouldn't do much, but just hurt.
How
And
about you go
also,
shoot yourself?
I want to put wall art for, I don't know, a good show. So
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah, I left you
go over to
speechless. Yeah, you couldn't come up
politicallyinsane.us/shop, and you can find yourself some great wall art over there, bud. But
the show would have been good if they were still a part of the Patriotic Youth Network, but they're not.
I know they're great now. So we're moving up in the world. But yeah, so for everyone who doesn't know, Tyler's really no one's significant. But Tyler, go ahead and let everyone know about your podcast.
Guys, you can go find me at thepatrioticyouth.com where I host my podcast every Thursday. And then Sundays we release our interviews. We've got one coming up tomorrow at 2 a.m. Eastern time with Ammon Bundy. So you guys can go check that out at thepatrioticyouth.com, as well as, follow my newsletter. We also have that. That's a good way to get stuff. And yeah.
So for those who don't know, Tyler was the loser that couldn't keep me on. I was just too good for him and for the Patriotic Youth. So I had to move on. And so I'm over with the Liberty Loft. You can always go check out the libertyloft.com.
Yeah, but Who did your producing for this show? Yeah, me. You're
No,
welcome.
I've been over here clicking it the whole time.
Oh,
I
yeah,
was
that
just
explains why I've been clicking it.
yeah, I was one step ahead of you, and so I would click it right as you were about to click. But,
But that would just, like, undo what you did.
no,
So
because
nothing
it
would
was
happen.
so simultaneously. I timed it up. See, that's how good I am. You just don't deserve me at the Patriotic Youth, Tyler.
You know
But,
what?
you know what?
Uh,
Go ahead and comment
You
if
ugly.
There
you
you go.
think Politically Insane is better than the youth of the nation. Go ahead and put that down in the comments. I think we'll see a lot of comments supporting
You know
me.
what? This is war. This is war. Yeah, this is war.
Bring it on.
Hey,
I've got guns.
you wanna look at something? You wanna look at something, Josh, before we go? Let's just look at our reviews. We could do that. We could look at our reviews for the podcasts. Let's go to Politically Insane. Oh, let's see. They have a whole 2 ratings. Oh my gosh, and one of them's me. So,
What if we go back to before Politically Insane redid our
yeah.
our RSS feed?
Then let's go to mine where I believe I have a lot more than you. Oh yeah, 20 ratings.
Oh, hey there. You're still here. Okay, well, if you made it this far, you might as well just go ahead and hit that share button. Go ahead and share this episode on social media with your friends, your family, whomever you think wants to hear this episode. Just go ahead and share it. It's a great way to help us. You can also help support Politically Insane by going over to Apple Podcast or Spotify and giving us a 5-star rating. It's a great way to get us up towards the top of the charts. And you can go over to politicallyinsane.us/shop and you can find all of our merchandise in the store there. Go check it out. We've got a lot of cool things, lots of tumblers and mugs and t-shirts, and it will be constantly growing. So you can support us there and also rep Politically Insane. Make sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter for all of our updates, and go ahead and subscribe. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Rumble channel, wherever it is that you are watching right now. Or if you're just listening, do whatever it is that you're supposed to do on the podcast platforms. Anyways, we thank you so much for watching, for listening, for support.